it started.
Okay, I'm here.
And hello. I am Dan Lutz, and I'm here with Tank,
Good evening, everybody.
and we're here on the front lines. Okay, we're still not getting this back and forth bad.
I didn't know what to say there.
I know.
I'm working on it.
Anyway, one of these days we'll get something down. I didn't play the one with our intro. Just went uh, right into it. But this is Dan and Tank on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the Illuminonkeys, those cabal members out there that are trying to basically keep us into a debt slave system, and we want to be out of it forever and create an abundant space world and where things are continuing to grow and based around life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Absolutely. I think that's pretty much sums it up.
And the crowds cheer.
That's the way it should be, too. That is the way it should be.
Yeah, it should be that way. And it is that way.
Well, it's pretty exciting.
Pretty exciting. Well, how's everyone doing out there? Oh, you're back. You're back? Hello?
Oh, can you hear me or no?
No, not since you said pretty excite, and that was it.
I'm here. All
Yeah.
right, can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
All right, cool. I'm with this. Going live. I think before we come to the front lines. Like usually, the past few weeks, my family was out of town, so I was going live. I didn't connect everything correctly. So
Tank.
We recently video time.
Yeah. Tank.
Something like that.
Tank. Your line is not very good. It's very choppy at the moment.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see here.
They're just messing with you.
Yeah. It's okay. It's fine.
Hitting you with a wave energy weapon.
Whatever. And
Yeah.
all right. Can you hear me now?
I hear you. Yes. It looks
Am
good.
I clear now?
You're very clear.
Excellent. I am not going to move from this spot. Oh, perfect. All right. So, pretty exciting week. Dan, I was kind of recapping, and I feel like the cabal hears footsteps, right? And they're starting to freak out a little bit.
Just now?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Oh, I said that. I heard you say they're starting to freak out now.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, no, I was looking at all the things. I think the space program is, these, a lot of times these have like other bills in there, but, I have to personally, I know that Kim is, part of the, she's an ambassador for the planet, right? And been named to the Universal Council, so I have to believe that that is significant. Although I haven't been able to, get on the phone with her this week to really talk about it. And I did get a call from the representative tables today, which I thought was good news. They, I guess, after all their, pomp and circumstance and all their, walking around with their chest putting out about how important they were, they actually, I guess, there was like somebody in between the gatekeeper, then there was like the daughter of the guy who's really in charge. I guess the guy who's really in charge actually came to the gatekeeper and said, "We need that little information, Kim Dogan," because they realized,
Oh, I am the host now. We lost Tank. Interesting day. You're back? Hello? Hello? Unmute you. You were muted, and you left for a moment and came back, just so you know. You're offline.
Wow, this is going to be annoying a little bit, huh? Okay.
Yeah, are you still there? That's.
One second.
You have to do the yogic pose. And make yourself into a grounded antenna. Yes.
All right. Sorry. All right. So, did you hear that part about the tables? The tables reached back out to?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. Okay. So the representative for the tables called me this morning, and he told me that the gatekeeper was talking previously to like the daughter of the head guy, and I guess the head guy came to the gatekeeper and basically said, "I need you to get me Kimberly Ann Gogan's information and stuff about the Manna World Holding Trust because he wants to know what she controls." So, I think that's a good sign when the top of the world, right? When they're coming back to you after they already told you to go screw yourself, right?
Right.
So I think that's pretty exciting, and who knows what that means?
You know what? I'm starting to think about. This is kind of like a game, like a game machine, somewhere where the cabal has all these little groups going around doing things like little plays, right? That they're running scripts through, and say, well, let's see if this script works over here in this little controlled element, and we're going to make these guys the table, right? and then they pump them up. They give them information. They give them account numbers and code books and stuff like that. And it could have been from a year ago, 10 years ago, 50 years ago, and they just run these scenarios, right? And they just kind of control them from the outside and just kind of monitor who's interacting with them and what the reactions are. And then they kind of use them to maneuver, right? It's kind of seeming like something like that, because look at the GCR, right, and the different factions within the GCR. I was under one faction of the GCR under Rodriguez Trust, right, and historical bonds, right, and things going on in China and the Philippines. But nothing to do with currencies. Of course, it came up, but it really wasn't any of the topic, or really anything other than a pile of other paper sitting on a pallet.
Yep, they've already been redeemed and registered to the trust. And actually, this is really what happened in 2008 when Lehman Brothers couldn't pay back the bonds, right? And that's really ultimately what caused the catastrophic collapse, right, in the market. And now, you have all these bonds that are already been registered. They've already been cashed out. So there's definitely nobody
they never even thought they would have to pay them out, right? So they hadn't even planned, right, for that. And being that every bank is in negative liquidity, and everybody's trying to get money out of somewhere, unsuccessfully, I might add. So obviously, you'd think that there'd be people coming to the tables all over the real table, like with Kim, to actually be like, oh, listen, we didn't handle this the right way, we didn't realize, but alas, I'm not even sure what the current situation is that Kim has to deal with, because the things that we have set up, and the things that we're going to do long term, that it'll take a year to completely transition over, the banking system, what I understand. Mm-hmm. So, but Kim is very considerate of people, right? She's already put things in place to ensure that there's a way that people will be able to get money and some kind of system in place, right? And being that you already have the hardware and the banks set up, right? There's already a network there, so I'm sure she's considerately navigating those that battlefield as we speak. But kind of amazing stuff. It's you see less and less people trying to say that Kim isn't the one, right? Because I think they realize, like, do you really want to be on her bad side when she has absolute control of the system? Because they were willing to do anything for the Rothschild. Somebody was telling me this today. They were telling me how it had to do with Sasha Stone's partner, right? And how they were trying to do this whole currency thing, right? I don't know, what the as far as I know, Sasha Stone's up to no good, but I don't know anything about it. But I guess he and his partner had come up with some way to introduce this new currency, right? And some new way they're trying to claim their sovereignty or whatever. Some bankers asked him, like, okay, are you guys ready? And Sasha Stone was like, no, I'm out, And his partner was like, yeah, I'm ready. So they got him on a private plane. They flew him out to the Bush Mansion, right? And got to the Bush Mansion. George Bush walked downstairs in his bathrobe. And he was like, where do you want it? So needless to say, that didn't work out. But that's the kind of world it is. I mean, that's the kind of things that you had to deal with, right? This kind of, horrible monstrosity that
was George Bush having it when he came down in his bathroom? Was he wearing bunny slippers?
I think he probably was showing his claws. What I'm thinking, something like that. Yeah. But this whole world. I mean, the sheer ridiculousness of this whole system is starting to be exposed in such a way that it's like, how has this ever been allowed to? How did we let this allow this to happen? I do feel that at the end of the day, it comes down to personal responsibility and accountability, right? Mm-hmm. And we got to stand up and say, look, we are all together on this. There's 7 billion of us to maybe a couple 100,000 of them that are running everything. And that applies to every corrupt cop who thinks that they're bloodline and they're working their way up through the ranks to the Illuminati hierarchy. Every corrupt FBI agent, every corrupt CIA agent. You're all part of us, right? They're all the people, right? And at the end of the day, I really want people to stand up and be human, right? Like this woman, Amy Hankins, who had her children taken from her after her 5-year-old died from a terminal disease. Then her husband died 3 days later, who was a 17-and-a-half-year war veteran. He actually died because of what happened to him in combat, right? Like whatever he was exposed to, and he died, right? And they were together for 15 years, married for 10. They had 4 kids together, right? Every part of that is the American. Like, these are Americans that embody America, right? So to speak. Like they fought for what they believed in our country is, right? And And after this, her 5-year-old died, then her husband died. Then they proceeded to arrest her 40 times in a year, harassing her every place she'd go. Her daughter actually wrote a letter and gave it to her teacher, right, that they later used as evidence to show, like, they just stormed in and, just treated her horribly, right? Because they're introducing trauma, right? These are mind control tactics, right? Mm-hmm. You're traumatizing someone over and over and over again until it gets to a point where they're afraid to do anything and they just break. And then they kill her kids after that. And her kids actually aged out of the system. And they tricked her into doing time, into doing hard time. They told her, if you just plead no contest to a battery charge, which she was never part of. She didn't hurt anybody, right? Mm-hmm. If you plead no contest to this, we'll get your kids back to you in 3 days. And instead, they put her in prison. I mean, can you imagine what a horrible thing that is to do to someone? They're expecting to get their kids back, and you put them in prison.
Yeah. Oh. Well, why was she like chosen for the extreme punishment, right?
I think she might be bloodline somewhere, and they value the bloodline, so this is how they show their love, right? They try to break somebody else. Reading about that with Shirley Temple. Shirley Temple there was this whole pornographic series about Shirley Temple, and she was actually referred to as Black Shirley Temple. And it was all these old men, doing porn with this little girl, and then she later went on to be a big executive at Disney, right? And became like allegedly, according to I don't know how. I'm sure the Black Shirley Temple thing, that is actually real, but I don't know what else happened. I know she was an executive at Disney, but I was told that she became like one of the queens in the Illuminati, which means absolutely nothing, by the way. It's like, you have just as much power as the king of your castle, in your, 400 square foot apartment in Manhattan. It doesn't really have any weight. In the reality, these fake titles, and these fake deeds of, like, oh, we're gonna make you're the head trustee of the Rodriguez Trust. I have the paperwork right now for, somebody who had amazing, really intricate, beautiful paperwork, right? Which I do appreciate, well-designed, paperwork. And it's filled with seals, very official things, docket numbers and stuff, right? And it's and it shows that this one individual, this American guy, was the head of the Alpha Omega Trust. And then he gave his power of attorney over to this other woman who's hiding in, like, these Tibetan temples, right? And she's now supposed to be the head of the Alpha Omega Trust, and she's been hiding because they're gonna use her to try to take her, right? Okay. And then and I have all that, and all that when it goes to get checked out, where this individual is in the trust?
Where?
They're not. They don't exist. Because they just gave that to someone to make them feel important, right? And tell them you're the one that's going to save the world, right?
Right.
And then later they get killed, and and the ones at the top, they didn't care. It was a joke to them.
Right.
Kim was telling me how they would make everything a joke. They didn't care, right? They did all this at our expense, right? So now all these individuals who are still torturing us, right? They learn from the most evil, sadistic human beings, not human beings, evil, sadistic beings on the planet, and they carry on those traditions, and they don't even realize they were the first ones to be, the brunt of the joke.
Right. Well, I think that's partly the same thing with all this, the black magic rituals and all this kind of stuff. That they it's not necessary to do all the evil stuff to get the powers to work. The powers of creation, right? But they've tricked the people into doing these horrible things out of a joke.
Yeah, it's all a joke to them. They don't care. They wanted to keep the frequency at a low level, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. That's true. But that's how they did it. It's like when people are in the churches and you get miracles going on, right? It's the power of creation is being harnessed at that time. So, so it's the same power. It's the same battery. If you want to look at electronic terms, right? One's a low frequency battery, one's a high frequency. One group is more happy in this frequency, and the other group is not. Okay? So they're trying to terraform the world and the people into liking a different frequency.
Yeah. It's really it's a train wreck in a lot of ways. The all the holy scriptures, or allegedly holy scriptures from different religions have been perverted, right? Like you have it over in the book of Job. God is talking to the devil and he says, "Well, have you considered my servant Job?" And he's like, he is what does it say? It says that he hates evil and he fears God. Well, that doesn't make sense. First of all, it should have been he hates evil and he loves righteousness, or he loves God.
Right.
But instead, they just remove one word. It changes the whole impact and the energy of a sentence, right?
Right.
You have, everything that they did is built in deception, right? They say that they're trying to help you, and at the same time, they're enslaving us, right? I mean, just that in and of itself. So everything they've done has been built in, hidden secret layers of deception. And so, I mean, the recipe to change the world is really just the opposite, right? So instead of building it in with hidden layers of deception, we build everything completely transparent with, obvious truth, right? And just by doing that, everything becomes possible. It's just starting from that place, right? That's why I'm not a fan of this long, drawn out, like we're just patiently waking people up, because that's the same thing they did during the GCR. Now, that mentality is actually a cabal tactic to continually, shame us, constantly shame us that it's our fault. We did this. Now, do we have a responsibility? Yes, we do have a responsibility. Is it our fault? I think there's a difference there. We have to take our responsibility to change the world. All of us, right? All of us have to take that responsibility. Now, but that means everybody's got to play their part. Everybody's got a job to play. And we all got to play our part. Now, our ancestors signed us into slavery in these contracts. Well, all those contracts are expired. And I don't understand the logic behind President Trump sitting on a document right now that liberates the United States. Now, notice what I just said is the United States. Because the United States encompasses the whole world, believe it or not. It's a corporation that encompasses the whole world. But if you liberate all the countries, right, and really allow them to define what freedom is for them, that's where you start to actually get a world that's building from a place of solidarity, and we can actually start to appreciate and value the differences that make the human experience so incredible, instead of making them what divide us and make us fight. And if you don't see it my way, it's going to be this way. It's like all these catastrophic religious prophecies, right? Where look, all the Christians are going to be raptured up, right? And all the true believers, and then 7 years of judgment. That's the rapture Christian doctrine. And then you have the Jews will say, look, the Gentiles are only here to serve us. That's why they're here. They're not even human. They're just animals in human form. Then you have the Islamic doctrine, right? Where basically they're taking over the world. They're living in the end times, taking over everything.
It's the goyim is the animals in a human form to serve, right? It's basically right out of the Anunnaki and the slavery, right? So it's a continuation of this ideal, right? Those people are the ones you can enslave.
Yeah, I mean, and every race has been enslaved. Every race is enslaved to something.
Yeah, but the others, but the ones that think that they're the slave masters are thinking that they're not enslaved.
Right. I mean, we are all currently in a form of public serfdom, which is just a different word for slavery, right? We're all indentured servants, right? We go and work a full-time job to, a job that we probably don't like, with a company that had a great mission statement, but is long since forgotten. And then we pay the people who actually own the corporations, all of them, to the IRS, right? 30% at least, of our wage, especially if we make a good wage. Then we pay then we pay to put money away for when we get older, right? And then that money's gone, right? Because that money's just going to nothing. The money we think is income taxes, what we think is from the government, actually goes to the Federal Reserve. It's never gone to the government. It's always gone to the Federal Reserve. I'm paying a state tax, right? So I pay a state tax so that people like Andrew Cuomo in New York can, start to create laws, that are completely violate my constitutional rights, right? That actually put me and my family, my children, their lives at risk, right? Dr. Lima is a wealth of information. She was talking about how, she's the doctor of the Queen. And the Queen was like, the culling's about to start. We're going to get rid of 90% of the useless eaters, right? And then Sherry Edwards, she was talking about this woman, can't remember her name, but she's in pharmaceuticals. She worked her way up the ladder in the pharmaceuticals. Once she got to the very highest levels of pharmaceuticals, they started saying, now look, if we can get them from birth, we can make sure that we have a lifetime prescriber, right? And they can control their whole life. And it literally showed how the pharmaceutical company, she got this firsthand from the groups, how the pharmaceutical companies were designed around eugenics, right? Get them from birth, and then you can take them right up to death, and you have a customer for life, right? So they don't even look at us as human. It's not about doing what's best for people. It's about what's best for the humanitarian economy, which is only exists during a law, wartime. And humanitarian law is just, it's the law of war. This is what's acceptable based on the guys at the very top who sat there laughing as they tortured all of us. Right. Just from boredom, just from living so long and just being bored, coming up with new ways to mess with us.
Yeah, and it's slave from birth, even pre-birth, right? Even before you're born, from inception.
Right. I mean, this is they're just, everything is now those nightmares are one thing, and we could correct those things, and when it really comes down to people actually looking at factual information, and just being honest about what they see. I keep thinking about this and talking about this, how really you have this conspiracy theory that is playing out in the mainstream media, right? And the conspiracy theory is based on many other conspiracy theories that we've all accepted as our reality and as fact. And so it's amazing because we all think things like vaccines. Well, vaccines work. Well, that's what we all think, right? But there's really no evidence because they don't study them, right? Because they keep the studies small, and then they can bring them out, which doesn't even make sense. Something like if you keep the studies beneath 80,000 people, you can bring the drug to market almost instantly. How is it? So you mean to tell me if you study a drug less, you can bring it to market faster? And then what that means is basically we become the experiment.
Right.
And Merck, who made the MMR vaccine, this is what Adam, I think it's Adam, I can't remember, the guy from Natural News, but he basically was talking about how two of the virologists who worked on the vaccine from Merck, they filed a false information report under oath saying how Merck spiked the results, spiked it with animal DNA or with substance, right, to make it look like the vaccines were more effective. Now that's a sworn document under oath, and I said to my team today, there's actually a law right now that's in place that says they cannot force us to use these vaccines, right? It's a federal law. Right. States can't do it. So they're completely breaking the laws. But what do you think is going to happen when they start really going full on Nazi mode with this, right? And cops start all of a sudden you got the vaccine police, right? They show up in the vax van, right? Throwing you in the vax van, and some random person shows up, takes your kids, and immediately puts them up for adoption or some crazy thing like that because you didn't get vaccine. Right. Which any sane human would look at the evidence and say, why on earth would anyone put this in their body? And certainly not an infant.
Right. They're trying to wipe us out. They're trying to wipe us out.
When we were kids, Dan, there was 12 vaccines, right? About 12 vaccines that we got. By the time, roughly between you and I think it was 24 by 1984, and there was 6 or something like that. Something like 6 in 1962. Now there's 74 vaccines. Every one of them with fresh metal, fresh mercury, fresh aluminum, all these things, these additives, right? These are all them experimenting with us, with like mad scientists, literally mad scientists, trying to figure out what is the formula that we can put just enough metal in people's body that attaches and becomes part of them, then jam them up with the frequencies. So they're automatically tuned in because you actually put these robotic pieces in them, right? Then you sprinkle in the air these nanites, right, which are microscopic cellular robots, right? And now they go in your body, and there's already metal in your body there to work with. And they're smart. It's called smart dust, right?
Right.
So all that's true. That's all real. This is all documented. It's not some crazy conspiracy theory, right? The only thing that makes it a little bit of a conspiracy or a theory at times is because they don't disclose fully what these things are doing. Now,
right.
The fact of the matter is, when it comes to informed consent, according to the Nuremberg trials, we have the right to stand and say, I don't want that. I have a choice. That means you can't have, geoengineering take place without our consent. You can't do it. You can't just put it broadly in the air and force me to be subject to that. You can't do that with my food. When it's ridiculous to act like we need GMOs, when we could just as easily, set up biodomes in the desert if we wanted to. There's plenty of food. So all these things, they violate, our rights that we have. But if we don't stand up and claim our rights and really say outright, no, these are my rights that I have, and I am claiming them, they're mine. And if we don't do that, then we waive our rights, right? Because our silence is our consent.
Don't be silent, Tank.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Well, I think we're already making the noise. We just need to ramp it up by getting people to subscribe, move out the videos so people can see them. You can't just rely on the systems they have put in place. You have to copy the link and paste it places. Just take 20 minutes and do copy paste into all these forums you're in. Just hey, check out this video. I found this. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I really want to break open the mechanism here, right? And it's funny. People get very extreme, right? The people that are diehards, right? Robert Allen being one, or Kevin. They're doing all they can, right? And you know what happens is the collective group doesn't, right? We'll have 1,000 people, I'm sure, who will see this, and somewhere in that range. Now, 1,000 people just took this and said, "Look, this is going out. I'm going to ask one person to share this and ask them to do the same with somebody else. Please share this. Do me a favor, make one other person share this, right? You would hit every single person on the planet in 30 days. Every single person on the planet. Now, think about the power that we have collectively if we just would give a damn, right? But then, so what happens is, because that doesn't happen, that energy, which is what is required right now, the universe requires that kind of energetic push right now. And so what happens is you have those who are willing to do, they end up doing 100 times as much, just trying to get the message out. And then they look like they're crazy, right? Because they're doing all they can, right? Like, definitely I look crazy, right? I mean, often. And it's because, we're just trying to compensate for those who don't want to do anything. They don't got time. They don't got time to press cut and paste, into their feed, or share it with a friend, or this is their guilty secret. Why is this a secret? We're giving you life-saving information every time we talk. Every time we talk, we're giving you things that will change the world. Why would that be a secret?
No,
you should be rocking shirts right now that say the front lines of the Speak Project. You should be telling everybody about Create Change. You should be bragging to people how the world is on the cusp of the greatest change in human liberation in history. How everything you hate about the world can change, but we got to be a part of it.
Right.
There ought to be something about some kind of ownership that we take and say, you know what, this is important. And what the Kardashians is doing is not. It's not. It's not a dude. Roy Davis, the guy that he's got this case. We were talking this week, you know, and I called him up and somebody brought up some, false accusations. They dropped down on me like it was fact. As soon as I heard it, I'm like, where did that come from? You know, so I called him up. I said, well, Roy, somebody said this, and I don't panic. I said, I want to be transparent about everything, because I am that way. Like, I want to tell you, they said this, right? And I just want to know if there's anything that, like, this would trace back to, or somebody harassed you, or did something happen that they're mislabeling, things like that. Just, that happened. This dude, he's so sharp, so smart, and he went on this rant, and it was like maybe my favorite rant I ever heard. He goes, because he's like Cheyenne, Lakota, Indian, and Cherokee. He's like, that is some white people and black people stuff. He goes, that's the kind of people who want to be an Americano. He goes, I'm not a United Statesian. He goes, I don't wear skinny jeans. I don't have a hipster beard, and I don't follow Caitlyn Jenner. He goes, I'm not one of these snowflakes out there who has things to hide. He goes, everything I am is out there in the open. And I was like, man, that's my kind of guy,
Yeah.
It's just funny. I don't wear skinny jeans.
Yeah, what's wrong with skinny jeans? I don't know.
They're great on girls.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess I kind of missed that fashion, era. I do mean error. It's an error.
It's one of the many ways they've tried to effeminize or emasculate men. Make us take away the natural qualities of what it means to be a man. We show any kind of fortitude or leadership or command of anything. Now it's toxic masculinity.
Give me that toxic masculinity. That's what I want to basically.
I'll tell you what. I want that. I'm going to open a bar, and I'm going to call it toxic masculinity. I'll bet you the prettiest girls in the world for there. I think most women that I've talked to, they miss men being men.
Yeah. I think it's pretty much the case, and then but then they don't know it though. So when the guys are acting like men, the women are trained to let's just say go against that, or they don't like it or whatever the that training is. But it's
real women do. I don't think so. I mean, I think women who are women that you would want to date, that you'd want to be with, this whole group of man-hating, kind of.
Well, let me give you an example. Okay, so let's say that a guy is saying something that's not PC, right? And the women were trained to any sign that they get triggered, boom, right? That even though their biology is attracted to that man, right? That triggering that has been programmed into them to go against them, or automatically labels them. They say, well, I might think he's cute or whatever in the background, but then they act out of being triggered. That's kind of what my point is. It's more about they layer it. And then it's layered upon layered upon layered upon layer upon layer to wipe out that masculine side because the guys are not getting the responses. I said, well, why can't I get any women, right? So maybe I need to change my cologne.
Yeah.
So now, no, I got to wear skinny jeans. Okay. Well, it's a little tight in there, but
yeah.
limits the amount of production of reproductive.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
True. We all learned that from Cheers. Sam Malone. Yeah, all this stuff. But you know what? I do love like Tom Selleck. I mean, like he's one of the last he's like the John Wayne of our time, right? And he's out there talking about it. Just dogging these guys, saying, like talking about what a good man President Trump is. So is Keanu Reeves. And I'll tell you, the girls in my group were like, they're real men, right? in life, of course, right? And I think there's just, I think we are, as much as the divine, we're going into this, they've actually manipulated things that are real, right? They constantly manipulate things that are real, such as, saying like, we're going into an age of divine feminine, so to speak, right? Well, that's true, right? But the divine feminine only exists when you have a properly balanced divine masculine in place. Because the divine masculine energy is an essential component to all of this.
Right.
Right? Now, here's the illusion. I'm going to break down something complicated but true, right? Now, you take the name Yahweh. Now, Yahweh is, supposed to be the true name of God. It's what Masons, go to, right? But Yahweh is also a symbol and a principle that, Tui's talked about, right, in reference to Manna. Now, the way this works is it's Yah, which would be Y and H in Hebrew. It's where the first two parts of the tetragrammaton. But it's Y-A-H in English. So the A, right, for this example, is for Adam, right? That represents the masculine portion of God. And that is the existent one. That's what it means. Now, way, right, W-E-H, the E is for Eve. Now, way means ultimate source. So now, just by the biology of men and women, most of the time, men are the givers, women are the receivers, right? It's the natural way that our bodies plug together. Now, the one time where a man is in the position of receiving is when the woman is with child. Now, there's nothing more feminine or more beautiful in this whole world than a pregnant woman, particularly when she's carrying your baby. Nothing in this world is more beautiful than a woman carrying your baby that you love. There's nothing more beautiful in this whole world. Now, when it's time for the woman to bring forth that child, right, the man has to position, first of all, the baby has to be in what they call the correct posture, right, to be delivered. But the man has to be in the correct posture as well to receive the child. So if you look at it from just a very simple state, the baby is coming out. The man has to reach back, so to speak, into the ultimate source, the woman, to bring forth the creation, right? Because the baby is creation. And then what happens is this, is in that interaction, right, the man essentially he made a deposit, and that deposit shows interest and manifests into the energy, the manifestation of their love, right?
Go ahead and talk dirty, Tank.
Listen, I'm just saying. It is what it is. So the collective, or the increase or the interest on the love naturally created between a man and a woman is the very act of creation of life, right? And that's that energy. It's just, and I'm just using that as a physical example of that spiritual energy that this whole thing is really all about. So right now, the masculine energy, what they're doing is they're trying to take advantage of it and make us to be something we're not. And the reason why is because they know that for this to move forward, we have to be in a receptive posture. And because we're in a receptive posture, they look at that and they try to make it effeminate. But that's not what it is. It's being receptive to receiving life that we ourselves, that came from us, right? And we're creating. We're the generators, co-generators, and if we don't do it right, we're the people. So I was just looking at right now where we're at. I would encourage everyone to embrace the same attitude. We should all be in a receptive posture. We should be expecting life. We should be expecting, the fruits of our love and our labor, right? Literally, a child is the fruits of our labor, right? And we need to stop being. And look, and I'm somebody who's always. I'm like the dad who's there with my wife going, push. I'm always pushing. But even I, at this moment, will say, no, it's not time for that. The pushing is over. And you got something called a precipitous birth, right?
Well, Tank, breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe.
You're right, exactly. So, but you have something called a precipitous birth, right? Now, a precipitous birth is where the woman's in labor, and all of a sudden the baby crowns and the baby's out almost instantly. It can happen within minutes, right? So you have something called a precipitous birth. Now, that's the term that I keep hearing and feeling in the energetic balance of the universe of where we're at. We don't have long to wait because the figurative divine feminine is in labor, and that's embodied in all the men and women and men. And then with that in mind, the nature of all men should be of the same attitude, to be of expecting that precipitous birth. And we should be in a state of readiness. So, you'll see. So that's my spiritual principle for Friday night.
Well, it's good. You know, I like that visualization. You know, it helps paint a great picture for how we're ready to have a precipitous birth. What do you call it again?
Precipitous birth.
Precipitous birth of the abundance-based world. We're crowning.
Now, I'll tell you this. This is just get.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello?
There you go. Hello.
All right, sorry about that. So, yeah, a year ago, I wrote this article. Now, I was talking about Revelation, the first chapter, and it talks about a woman appeared in heaven, cloaked in the sun, travailing in childbirth, and the dragon waited to devour her offspring.
Right. I know that one.
Now you got this principle, right? Now I know it refers to like, Virgo or something, right? With a star. But there's a spiritual principle, right? The spiritual principle is you have the woman symbolic of humankind, right? All that is beautiful about humanity is embodied in a woman. And you have this woman wrapped in the sun. So she exists within the sun. And then within the woman is another sun. So you have the woman within the sun, and you have the sun within the woman, right? Now, from that place, right? This is like when you'll hear various different versions of things. They'll talk about how within you, or you are within the universe, but the universe within you are within the infinite, and you yourself are infinite, right? Now, this principle, that's the same principle. For those who don't like scripture, they'll say that's the same principle, right? Now, so I wrote this article talking about how you have Kim, right? She's the mitochondrial Eve. So she's here and she's getting ready to liberate humanity, right, by bringing down this money. Now, if you think about it, when you take a baby, even though it's helpless by itself, right, when it's separated from the mother, it's liberated, right? It's independent. It has its own life, its own thoughts. Now, granted, there's a long period where the baby can't take care of itself, so we got to take care of the baby. But the point is that what's really happening in childbirth is you're liberating the creation, right? The love, your offspring, all these things. So what happened was I compared that to you have the dragon families, and they were just waiting for Kim to liberate humanity so they could devour us. Right?
Okay, I got you, yeah. I like it.
So anytime she released money, what do? They go and get it. They go devour it, right? So any signs of liberation, they would go and gobble it up. Now, I wrote that and Kim didn't really acknowledge it or anything, and I'm like, that's probably awkward for when you say that, right? But here's what happened. I don't think I ever said publicly, this is true, that when Kim, back in April of 2018, Kim finally set up the system. Now, I want you to think like this, because I'll bet you if everybody listens, very soon you're going to hear this message. This is a banking message goes out. She sent out a message, a ping, right, to every country in the world, to every central bank in the world. And the message said this: I am ready to send. Are you ready to receive? And what happened is, when the banks acknowledged, yes, I'm ready to receive, the money automatically, according to the algorithm, dispersed. And now she dispersed the money in reference to a treaty that every country in the world has. In other words, she didn't need their permission to give them the money. She dispersed the money for building the monorail, which was decided back in 1978 based on a treaty. And because the trust never broke the treaty, she was able to fund every country in the world. And I think it was 198 countries in the world all received that money. Right? And she proved to everyone. Now that happened, and she'd been working on it night and day. Now when she called me, she said to me, I gave birth. She didn't say it like that. She was very tired. But I'm saying that.
What happens when you get birth? You get tired.
But she wasn't like, she wasn't like all, gaudy on it. She was just, it's very humble. She just said to me, probably because I was young. Now my point is, in this whole process, right? You're more than a year from that time of her showing the world that she has access to the ability to bring that money down, that she's wanting control of it. That if you're going to have offspring, you're going to have growth, she's in control of it on that level, right? So I'm just looking for that, and I'll tell you, this message will keep playing over my mind, because I feel this is what we're at, is that there is a message going out, and it's saying, I am ready to send. And I believe Kim is ready to send. And the response, are you ready to receive? Well, my attitude, I am ready to receive.
I'm ready to receive. I'm ready to receive. I got a bank account all ready to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
With no effort at all.
Yeah. So now, maybe that's too spiritual for people who like hard facts.
Yeah. Well, it happened. It was set up for me. But, I didn't lift a finger. It just happened.
There you go.
So it must be time. I haven't had a bank account in so many years.
I think that we're in a time where we'll see all good things synchronizing harmoniously right now. We should expect things to go our way.
Yes.
Because things usually do go your way. We focus on the one or two things that don't go our way. But if we just realize most of the time you wake up, your heart's beating, your lungs are working, your eyes see, you can walk around, things are usually going your way.
Yep.
Usually they are. Yep. And we realize the sun comes up every day. We can count on things that are, and we can plan on. So we're so used to things going our way, we actually make plans around things going our way. Like we'll say tomorrow. The fact that you would say tomorrow means you expect it to come.
Yeah. So I'll catch you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I think are we?
That's all I got, man.
Are we good? I think we've made it. It's we gave birth to another episode.
Yeah, we gave birth to another. Yes, sir. All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you later. Everybody have a good night.
All right, everyone. Good night. Subscribe, share, pass out the link, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste.